Hello everyone, it's Jared.
I'm reacting to this article on people.com, what is going on with Shen Yun, all about the controversy surrounding the Chinese dance group.
Seems pretty unbiased to start off with, okay? Founded in 2006, the dance group advertises itself as a celebration of China's culture and heritage that brings performers from all over the world to train in New York before touring globally. In response to some of the accusations that surfaced in November 2024, Shen Yun's representatives released a statement. Sure, some people leave because it's not for them, and that's perfectly fine. But the vast majority of students will tell you this is their dream come true. Some people are just like, okay, this is not the thing I want to do. It's not the thing I want to do for the rest of my life. Or they just really don't like dance, and then they just leave. The people that stay, and then most of them, they stay because it's just what we like to do, you know? It's we love dance, we love Chinese culture. It's a very extremely enjoyable experience being part of Shen Yun. So what are the allegations being leveled against Shen Yun? Here's everything to know about the controversial dance group. Okay, we're very extremely controversial apparently. What is Shen Yun? Shen Yun is a classical Chinese dance company that focuses on bringing to life a lost culture through beautiful art. Very beautiful art. Occasionally, sometimes when we finish the show, we walk out, like maybe we don't take the bus, we walk from the theater to the hotel, and then like all the reaction from the audience, everyone's so happy, and then they're thanking us and then saying how beautiful we're like, and then it just it really humbles me down. It's just like I just do my small part in the show, but then I'm part of something so big and then so inspirational, so like uplifting to humanity, you know? But the group is more than just an entertaining performance. Spiritual leader and the founder of Falun Gong, a religious movement, Li Hongzhi, co-created the show to help amplify the beliefs of the religious. Most members of Shen Yun are Falun Gong practitioners, and then we all study the teachings of Falun Gong. Through our show, we do have pieces bring awareness to the persecution happening to Falun Dafa practitioners in China today. But then the goal of our show is not to amplify the beliefs of our religion. It's not to convert anyone. We want to show people, even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for humanity. You know, you just have to be a kind person, just be a God-fearing man. It doesn't matter what religion you are. And then during the toughest times, we want to give the message that just keep on holding strong. And then eventually the light at the end of the tunnel will just get brighter and brighter. You know, it's like if you said that every single Christian movie was made to convert everyone into Christians. Like, I'm not a Christian, but I watch Christian movies all the time. Like, I totally appreciate it. I appreciate the strength in their faith, the way they react to attacks on their faith, etc., etc. Although the dance group is registered as a non-profit organization, it has become a moneymaker for Falun Gong per the Daily. The group has 266 million in assets and makes well over 10 million a year in ticket shows. One of the most successful performing arts groups in the United States has 266 million in assets and well over 10 million a year in ticket sales. I don't understand why that is a problem. I mean, people come watch our show. How much the American Ballet make per year? And it says, as of the most recent available data, the American Ballet Theater reported total revenues of approximately 35.9 million for the fiscal year ending in 2023. We are the number one and leading Chinese classical dance company in the United States. And we make $10 million a year, and then somehow that's a problem. Okay, I don't know what the big fuss about is. We do have a big amount of cash and assets, but one thing that really, like during COVID, right? You know, most performing arts companies, they had to lay off people, including the showbiz. It's really tough for the showbiz. But they're sharing during COVID. Shen Yun did not lay off a single person. It kept everyone on the payroll through the entire time period of like zero cash coming in. You know, Shen Yun values each and every person that works for Shen Yun. Yeah. What is Falun Gong? Falun Gong, or Falun Dafa, is a religious movement that emerged in China in the early 1990s. Shen Yun describes Falun Dafa on their website as a mind-body practice guided by the principles of truth, compassion, and forbearance. Yes, that is very true. Truth, compassion, and forbearance are the tenets of our spiritual practice, and something that I personally, as a practitioner of Falun Dafa, try to strive to do every single day. They meditate together, study teachings together, and believe that cultivating the heart is the way to create art that is truly sublime. Yes, I believe that is very true. For our performers, practicing Falun Dafa is more than just meditation, the site reads. It's a state of mind that guides daily life, oriented towards self-betterment, taking responsibility, and putting others first. That sounds like pretty decent goals to strive for, which I should probably work harder at. Yeah, especially this one, putting others first. Yeah, I should probably work much harder on that. I don't see. These are pretty good goals to strive for, I would say. Why is Shen Yun not allowed to perform in China? Despite advertising itself as a celebration of Chinese culture, Shen Yun is not allowed to perform in China due to its association with Falun Gong, which is also anti-communist. Falun Gong, as a spiritual discipline, is not involved in politics at all. We try to actively not be so materialistic, to be so worldly, you know? And the reason that we cannot perform in China is because we bring awareness to the persecution of the CCP on us. We do not care about who is in charge of China, like China, Taiwan, you know, that doesn't really matter with us. We just want to bring awareness to this persecution, to stop this persecution that's happening to us personally. As detailed on the dance group's website, Shen Yun makes various references to Dafa throughout its shows, including a dance that tells the story of China's persecution of those who practice it. Yes, we definitely do that. And I believe it's the right thing to do, because it is probably one of the most atrocious human rights abuses ever to happen. It's like, for me personally, that is my fellow cultivators. It's like my brother and sister in this spiritual practice, you know? And I should probably do something for them. Supporters outside China claiming that 2,000 people have died in custody since 1999. Falun Gong practitioners are also subject to widespread surveillance, arbitrary detention, and torture per the Freedom House. I'm pretty happy that they talked about the persecution and they went sort of in depth in it. But then I do have a problem with this claim that 2,000 people have died in custody since 1999. If we look at here, this is the Minghui website. This is the official Falun Dafa website. It says that they have 5,205 confirmed dead. The truth death toll is higher, but due to strict censorship in China, many cases remain unreported or require further investigation. At least 5,205 practitioners are confirmed to have died in the persecution of Falun Gong. Their names are listed below. Each of these 5,205 are specific identified people who have died. And then to get information out of China between Falun Dafa practitioners is extremely hard. You have the firewall, you have extreme government surveillance. So this 5,205 is confirmed. Like, it's hard data that this is confirmed. So how much information that cannot come out of China is probably so much higher than this. Now I think this is the most horrendous part. Forced organ harvesting. Reports indicate that in China, patients can receive organ transplants within days or weeks. Shanghai Changzhen Hospital reported average liver transplant wait times of 1 week, with the shortest being just 4 hours. The shortest time they can get a live liver from another human body onto your human body. Why is this controversial? Extremely low voluntary donor rates. But if you look at this wait time, it's just very, very ridiculous. 4 hours, they can get some. This is like they treat humans, like practitioners Falun Gong, as lobsters at a lobster. You need a lobster? Grab one out for you right now. That's how they're treating Falun Gong practitioners in China. Yeah, this is just extremely, extremely sad. This means they have a massive amount of Falun Gong practitioners ready to be basically slaughtered. This claim that 2,000 people is a far, far understatement. According to the outlet, performers were routinely discouraged from seeking care for injuries. No, that is not true. Just a few months ago, like before we toured, I pulled my groin muscle, and then I didn't think it was that bad, and then I wanted to keep going. I want to keep going with my regular dance class, with our rehearsals, with our dress rehearsals, etc., etc. But I was not discouraged from seeking care for injuries. I was discouraged from not taking a rest. I was told to go find a doctor, to get some acupuncture, to get some cupping, to ask the doctor what is the best way to care for this injury. Yeah, I want to keep going, but they were like, no, you gotta calm down and you gotta take a rest and wait for it to get better. You know, they were like, think about the long term. Yeah, so I don't know where this routinely discouraged from seeking care for injuries. I don't know where that freaking comes from. Some performers told the outlet that when they got sick or injured, instructors led them to believe something was wrong with their spiritual state. No, I think everything I've been told is when I got sick or injured, like, you should not go on stage. Because we are taught as a dancer, our main responsibility is towards the audience. And the audience pay money to watch us perform our craft, perform our art at the peak, at the most athletic ability. They did not pay money to watch us, like, dance through our injuries. As a dancer, we all know when you have an injury, it is not like physically possible for you to be at your peak, you know? And then it's very irresponsible to the audience. At least that's what, I don't know, I can't vouch for them, but then that's what I've been taught. Meanwhile, others dance through dislocated kneecaps and sprained ankles to avoid being labeled as unfaithful to Hongzhi. Okay, if they decided themselves to dance through dislocated kneecaps and sprained ankles, then I would have to say that is kind of your own fault. If I had a dislocated kneecap or sprained ankle, I would let somebody know. I would let my company manager, I would let my dance instructor know, so then they could like switch me out. Just this year, we switched our formations like 2 or 3 times. One time it was just because someone's back was in pain, and then he couldn't do the dance moves properly, and then bang, we switch. Plan B, go ahead. Representatives of Shen Yun and Falun Gong denied the allegations to outlet, claiming that performers who got hurt did not go without medical care. Yes, absolutely. In September 2024 podcast episode for the Shen community, Dr. Damon Noto contested the claims, sharing that he has treated several Shen dancers. That same month, CEO of Northern Medical Center appeared on the podcast and said the claims were ridiculous. Yeah, I gotta say those claims are quite ridiculous. Anybody who got hurt or in pain will get immediate treatments because that's the only way they can heal, can recover, and return to the performance. Yeah, that is so true. In 2018, just my second year of tour, when I was warming up during the show, I ruptured my right Achilles tendon, and then right after I snapped my Achilles tendon, within 30 minutes, I'm not kidding at all. Within 30 minutes, there were 2, not just one. The company found 2 doctors to look at my feet to see what's wrong with it, because like I didn't know what the heck was going on at that point. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like this feels so weird. And then yeah, so they found 2 doctors, and then so the no medical treatment is just completely false. 2 medical doctors, and then eventually they said I need to get surgery if I want to keep dancing. So I came back to the United States. We were in Australia at the time, and then I got my Achilles reconstruction surgery. I went through PT, physical therapy, got the massage, all that good stuff, and then now I can keep dancing, you know, with medical treatment. You know, dancers also alleged to the New York Times that they worked long hours for little to no pay. For example, despite performing more than 800 shows a year, some performers in their mid-20s were being paid $12K or less, per the New York Times. Okay, now this is I would have to say, no offense, but then to be objectively speaking, I would say this is this sentence, especially this entire sentence is very unethical journalism. It basically completely twists the facts. What they're kind of trying to insinuating is that each dancer performs 800 shows a year. Let's see if that's physically possible. So even if we performed every single day of the year, that would be 2 shows per day. But then if we only perform for half a year, so that would be 4 shows a day, which does not exist. I mean, our company does do 800 shows a year, but we have 8 different companies, which averages out to 100 shows a touring season, which is half a year. And then we take a long rest, and then we rehearse, and then rehearsal time is pretty chill. We just get our new dance down, you know. And then some performers in their mid-20s were being paid $12K or less. Okay, the Shen Performing Arts has students on a practicum tour from the Feitian Academy of the Arts and Feitian College. These are students on a practicum tour. It is part of their studies to get live performance experience as a way to enhance their knowledge, you know. They are not considered employees of Shen Performing Arts. They have a full scholarship. Their lodging is paid for, and then they get a stipend. This is not the salary of a Shen employee. So you're grabbing students on practicum with a full scholarship, and you're using their stipend as an estimate of the salary of a Shen employee, which is like I know this because I am here. But then your average reader of this article would not know that, and then they'd be like, "Holy crap! These people 12K or less." It's like it is just unethical journalism. Very no good. Shen representatives claim that their dancers were paid a legally allowed amount that was in keeping with industry standards. Shen Yun also noted that all students are on full scholarship. That is true, not a single penny, which amounts to about 50,000 a year. Elsewhere in the investigation, some former Shen Yun performers detailed experiencing an atmosphere of fear, including being subjected to emotional abuse and manipulation. Once again, I cannot vouch for their experience, but I can vouch for my experience. I do not experience an atmosphere of fear here, and I have not been subject to emotional abuse and manipulation. On the contrary, I feel extreme emotional support with everyone that I work here with. Someone from my company manager, tour manager, stage manager, dance instructor, and then my fellow dancers, especially my fellow dancers. These are some of the best people I know. Some of my closest friends are my fellow dancers, you know. Some of my fellow dancers are people that I can actually spill my heart out. I get emotional therapy from these people, okay? Not some emotional abuse and manipulation. You know, there's many times I talk to, like sometimes I have a hard day, I talk to my company manager, I talk to my dance instructor, and they really help me out, you know? They make me, like, they give me support, like tell me just keep going, it's okay. They tell me like which parts, like maybe some things I'm stuck somewhere, and then they help me through it, you know? So I do not know what is subject to emotional abuse and manipulation. In response, the Falun Information Center claimed that the New York Times investigation only told a one-sided story, extremely one-sided story. The Information Center also claims that there were several conflicts of interest among sources, specifically that at least 3 of the 6 performers quoted throughout the investigation allegedly had undisclosed ties to the Beijing Dance Academy, one of Shen Yun's major competitors. Shen Yun representatives had offered to arrange interviews with performers who had sought and received medical treatment, but the outlet did not speak with them. This is a big problem. The people throwing these accusations of us have undisclosed ties to the Beijing Dance Academy. Because, you know, in China, while they do run like a capitalist sort of economy, but then if the government wants to take over something, they can take over everything. Basically, everything belongs to the government, especially the Beijing Dance Academy, which is a government-run institution. In China, there is no freedom of anything. Like, they have churches, they have synagogues, they have mosques, but then within the legal churches, synagogues, and mosques, they all have posters of Xi Jinping hanging there. And then they claim to be able to be legal in China as a religion, you need to claim that Xi Jinping is above your God, whatever religion it is. So there's no freedom of anything in China, you know. So anything that can run in China is definitely approved by the Chinese government. So if you have ties to the Beijing Dance Academy, that's a big no-no, big red flag already. Why was there a lawsuit against Shen Yun? A few months after the initial accusations from the New York Times, the outlet reported that one of the cited performers, Zhang Junge, filed a lawsuit against the group. She accused Shen Yun and its leaders of trafficking vulnerable children to work for little to no pay, and sent a statement that she is suing to make sure no children go through what I went through. According to the New York Times, Junge described Shen Yun as a forced labor enterprise that has exploited underage dancers through threats and public shaming and amassed millions of dollars in process. I mean, okay, Shen Yun does have students in his company, but then if you claim that Shen Yun is a forced labor enterprise, you are basically claiming every single internship in the United States which uses college students is a forced labor enterprise. And we are not vulnerable children to little or no pay. Like, this is not little or no pay. This is like, I mean, I'm living the life right now. I love like nice hotels, nice food. I get to visit the world. And it's like, this is absurd. If I don't think this is my cup of tea, if I feel like, oh, I've had enough of dancing, then I quit and I choose something new. It's like, what is trafficking? Like, one of my favorite movies is called The Sound of Freedom. It's about like legitimate trafficked children. They get kidnapped from their parents, and then they're locked up. They're literally locked up with no chances of, like, unless they actually fight for it. It's very, very hard for them to escape. This is a free come, free go thing, you know. To use the word trafficking is just sickening to me, because what real trafficking is very, very like disgusting, and is so degrading. And, like, you claim that like what we're doing, like I'm doing the thing of my dreams, and then you call it trafficking me? It's like what? The lawsuit describes Shen Yun's alleged tactics for instilling obedience, okay, including confiscating their passports, cutting them off from the outside media, denouncing them as Chinese government spies if they question the organization's practices, and putting those who rebel through public critique sessions, per the New York Times. This confiscating their passports, okay, On tour, our passports are indeed collected together, and they are collected and put together so that we don't lose them. Okay? Because we travel all over the place, hotel, theater. It's very easy to lose stuff. And then it's not like they confiscate our passport so we can't like if I wanted my passport right now, I'll just go find my tour manager and ask to get my passport right now. She's not gonna be like, no, you can't take your passport right now. It's not. They keep our passports so that we don't lose them. Oh boy, oh boy. Cutting them off from the outside media. What the heck am I doing right now if I'm cut off from the outside media? That is just wrong. Like, I watch whatever the heck media I want, like Fox News, CNN, that's my own personal choice. Denouncing them as Chinese government spies is a question of organization practices. From my entire, let's say 2017, almost 8 years of being in Shen, I have never seen anyone be denounced as a Chinese government spy. Like, at all. This is just absurd. There's a whole bunch of public critique sessions. Junge's lawsuit also details the alleged system of coercion and control that takes over every aspect of the performance, who often arrive to train in the group's New York headquarters as young teens with no connections in the US. Its tactics allegedly include limiting who the participants are allowed to contact, monitoring their calls and personal diary entries, and even keeping them inside the headquarters by armed guards. This thing, I have a big problem with this. Its tactics allegedly include limiting who the participants are allowed to contact. That is just not true. I have my phone here and I can contact whoever the heck I want, okay? Who is there to limit my contact of the outside world? Monitoring their calls? Throughout my 8 years of Shen, absolutely nobody has known whatever the heck I am talking to with my parents about or whoever I'm calling, unless I let them to. And then it's like, this is obviously not true. At least from my experience, it is not true. If you have had that experience, Junge, I'm very, very sorry for you, but that's not true. And personal diary entries. I have a personal journal. I've had it for many, many years, and I write everything inside there. The positive and negatives, all my daily thoughts. It's like a good reflection for myself. But then throughout my years in Shen, there's not been a single person that has even asked, not one person who has asked to look at my journal. Because that's my personal privacy, and everyone here respects that. It's just completely absurd, and even keeping them inside the headquarters by armed guards. Now this line, I have a very, very big problem. We do have armed guards at our headquarters, and our armed guards are there to protect us. Why? Because the Chinese Communist Party persecutes us, and they want to eradicate Falun Gong from the face of this earth. From our surveillance cameras, we see people vandalizing our property, the motorcades of motorcycles driving extremely close to our headquarters. Like, we have these cones, and they drive and they purposefully destroy all the cones. We have online threats of people who want to come into our headquarters with pictures of their AR-15s. They want to shoot us up. They want to rape our female dancers. When we go on tour, our bus tires have been slashed. There's bomb threats. Like, we have some very, very real, legitimate threats to our personal safety. And these armed guards, they're there for our safety, you know? And once again, our headquarters are in upstate New York. And upstate New York has a what? Dangerous wildlife, including bears, you know? There's been many times when the armed guards had to go between Shen members and bears and had to take down the bears at the risk of their own lives. This line really, really pisses me off. I feel like they work so hard for us, like day and night. And then basically protecting our safety at the risk of their own safety. And then to claim that they are like keeping us inside of headquarters as if they had their guns pointing at us, it's just absolutely not true. And then to put this accusation on them who risk their safety to protect us is just really unmoral, and it's very, very sad. A representative for the Falun Information Center claimed that Junge only began criticizing Shen after she began associating with Beijing Dance Company, which is a CCP-run dance organization and one of Shen's competitors. I guess that kind of explains everything then. Because if she was like a disgruntled employee, you don't need to turn black to white. You don't need to flip everything 180 degrees. If you have this motive behind you, like the CCP backing you, then I can understand why she would be saying stuff like this to completely smear us, you know. Well, I do want to thank the people at People, no pun intended, but the people working at People.com to at least like they give both sides of the story, you know, and then put some clarity, you know. What have Shen Yun performers said about their experience? Well, Shen Yun has faced a slew of criticism. There are several current and former performers and employees who have spoken about positive experiences from their time with the group. That's what I'm doing right now. Over 1,000 current and former Shen Yun dancers, musicians, production staff, and family members signed a petition stating that they are horrified to see the gross distortions and false narratives about our work, our faith, and our way of life echoing through mainstream media. In September 2024, former Shen Yun employee Ming-Ye Liu wrote an opinion article in Newsweek outlining her. I'm sorry, the people at People. I know Ming-Ye Liu, and then it's a he. Yeah, so maybe you guys can correct that. Outlining his positive experience with the company, saying that he felt proud to be part of it. Yeah, I mean that's exactly how I feel. Extremely proud to be part of Shen Yun. Actually, it's like if you look at some like dancers online, like their social media accounts, like especially dancers in China, especially since I'm a Chinese classical dancer, some of them have extremely good dance skills and they have a high amount of talent, but then they don't have a platform. They don't have a company that accepts them, or because the very sad thing about Chinese classical dancers in China is that when they actually get into a company, most of the time they cannot actually do what they study in school. They cannot actually do Chinese classical dance, and then so they have to do whatever the company says. They basically whatever they learn in school is a bit thrown to waste. Like I saw one dancer, he was so skillful, like much more skillful than me, and I was actually I felt really sad for him because like he worked so hard through his entire youth, and then he has no platform, and then so he has nowhere to really put his skill to the stage, which is what a dancer is born to do. I have this extremely strong platform, this caring company at Shen Yun that allows me to use what I learn into real life stage experience performing at some of the best theaters in the world. It's a crazy dream come true. Sometimes I actually feel like I am not worthy, but I'm just always grateful that there is Shen Yun behind my back. In general, I do feel like this article does try to get both sides of the picture, which I gotta thank them for that. But then I do think it kind of understates the severity and the atrocity of the persecution of Falun Dafa in China. But then once again, as I believe any free-thinking person should do their own research, you know? I mean, I admit there's a lot of accusations against us. You want to see the truth? I mean, best thing to do, come watch our show. If you ever have a chance, go talk to some of the people working at Shen Yun right now and make your own decisions, you know? And then just don't always believe everything that you've been told, you know, because sometimes there's much more and there's everything's so complicated. And, you know, you see like these people throwing these allegations against us. They probably have a tie. I don't want to put this name tag on them, but then they probably do have ties with the Chinese government. And then so you cannot actually trust everything they say. So once again, if you want to know the truth, do your own research, you know. Come watch our show. Come talk to one of us just to get our side of the story, you know? And then make your own decisions. I hope you liked this video. I guess that's all for now. Bye-bye. Oh, I'm so bad at ending videos.